Welcome back, seekers of the lost and guardians of the unsaid. You have entered the sanctuary of anything you want, the only digital archive where we refuse to let the truth vanish just because a server has been wiped clean. We are here to read the blank spaces, to listen to the silence that screams louder than words, and to understand the human cost of forgetting. Before we open the dossier on today's heartbreaking mystery, I invite you to anchor yourself in our growing family. Subscribe to the channel to ensure you never miss a chapter of these unfolding human dramas. Press the like button to signal your presence to the algorithm, and for those who wish to be the true patrons of this storytelling art, I urge you to click the join button. By becoming a member, you are not just a viewer, you are a witness to the stories they try to erase. Today, we are standing at ground zero of a digital apocalypse. Boris Ardok, the man whose charm defined a generation, has committed the ultimate act of modern rebellion. He has deleted everything. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the industry, his official Instagram account, a museum of his career, his life, and his memories, has been scrubbed clean. No photos. No milestones. And most devastatingly, no trace of Elçin Sangu. What drives a man to burn down his own history? And why is Elsen responding with the quiet devastation of poetry? Stay with us, here on Anything You Want, as we analyze the anatomy of a deletion. To understand the magnitude of this event, we must first appreciate the violence of the act. In the 21st century, an Instagram profile is not just a gallery, it is a biography. It is proof of life. For a star of Boris Ardok's caliber, it is a curated legacy of triumphs, red carpets, and the seemingly candid moments that endear him to millions. But in a sudden, calculated move, that legacy was dismantled. There was no hacking, no technical glitch. It was a choice. One by one, or perhaps in a single mass selection, the images vanished. The selfies, the promotional posters, and the endearing snapshots with Elçin Sangu, photos that fans had bookmarked as sacred texts of their chemistry, were cast into the digital void. The silence that followed was deafening. Fans, who are accustomed to Boris's discretion but rely on his online presence as a tether, were left drifting in confusion. While some optimists tried to label it a publicity stunt or a rebranding for a new role, the atmosphere suggested something far heavier. A source close to the actor whispered a truth that chilled the blood of the fandom. Boris is going through a very introspective time. He wants to leave certain things from the past behind. He did not name the past. He didn't have to. In the collective imagination of Turkey, Boris's past has a face, and that face belongs to Elçin Sangu. I pause here to ask you, the psychologists of Anything You Want, is deleting photos an act of healing, or an act of running away? Have you ever scrubbed your social media to escape a memory? Share your stories of digital cleansing in the comments below. For years, the bond between Boris and Elsen has been the industry's favorite open secret. They were the perfect couple who never officially existed. Their chemistry was not just acting. It was a language of glances, micro-expressions, and a comfort that cannot be faked. By deleting the evidence of this connection, Boris wasn't just cleaning a grid, he was attempting to rewrite history. But history has a way of fighting back. Hours after the Great Deletion, Elçin Sangu broke her own silence. She did not issue a press release. She did not rant. She simply shared a story, a black screen with white text, carrying a phrase that cut through the noise like a scalpel. Whoever erases memories, also erases themselves. This was not a cryptic quote found on a Pinterest board. This was a direct response. It was a philosophical challenge. She was telling him, and the world, that you cannot selectively amputate parts of your soul. By trying to delete her, he was deleting a vital part of himself. It ignited a viral firestorm, a debate on the nature of memory and identity. The drama soon spilled from the digital realm onto the cold pavement of Istanbul. Paparazzi, sensing blood in the water, began to haunt the actor's footsteps. The images they captured painted a study in contrasts. Baris was spotted leaving a restaurant in Nisantasi alone. His shoulders were slumped, his gait heavy, his face a mask of dejection. He offered no smiles, no waves. He looked like a man walking through the ruins of a decision he was already beginning to question. Elsen, conversely, was found on a terrace, surrounded by the laughter of friends. But the camera lens, cruel and high definition, caught the truth. She wore dark glasses even as the sun went down, a shield for her eyes. And later, a private confession to a friend was leaked to the press, revealing the cracks in her armor. "It's not easy dealing with such strong emotions under everyone's gaze," she reportedly admitted. "Sometimes you need to disappear for a while to understand what you're really feeling." Both of them are disappearing, in their own ways. One by deleting the past, the other by hiding behind dark lenses. A week passed. The silence stretched thin, threatening to snap. And then, a fan in the Bohemian district of Cihangir captured an image that felt too poetic to be real. Elçin Sangu was seen in a bookstore, standing in the poetry section. She wasn't looking at bestsellers. She was engrossed in a volume with a title that struck the heart of the matter like an arrow: "What We Keep Silent Out of Pride." Was it a coincidence? Perhaps. But in the world of signs and symbols, there are no accidents. For many, this was a subtle, devastating dig. It was an acknowledgement that their relationship, whatever it was, died not from a lack of love, but from an excess of pride. The pride that stopped them from speaking. The pride that kept them in the friend zone publicly while their hearts burned privately. This literary moment was compounded by a digital investigation. A fan account, doing the work of forensic detectives, discovered a new layer of separation: the unfollowing. Baris no longer follows Elsen. Elsen no longer follows Baris. They have unfollowed mutual friends. In the digital age, this is the equivalent of burning the letters and returning the ring. It is a symbolic death. This story is a tragedy of modern communication. If you appreciate the depth with which we explore these emotional landscapes here on Anything You Want, please take a moment to like this video. It helps us keep the memory of these stories alive. And if you want to support our team of writers, hitting that join button is the most powerful way to do so. While Elsen turns to poetry, Baris seems to be turning inward. His Instagram, now a barren wasteland of 0 posts, has one sign of life: his following list. Eagle-eyed fans noticed a shift. He has started following accounts dedicated to self-help, stoicism, and spiritual journeys. Is he looking for redemption? Is he trying to find a mechanism to cope with the introspective time sources mentioned? The rumors intensified when a former co-star, speaking under the condition of anonymity on a radio program, finally said the quiet part out loud. There was always more than just friendship between them. They looked out for each other, they protected each other, and when they looked at each other, it was obvious. But they were also afraid. Afraid of ruining what was already working. This statement has become the epitaph of their relationship. Fear. The fear of ruining a perfect friendship prevented them from having a perfect love. And now, they have neither. The emotional storm has now made landfall in their careers. In a move that has alarmed the industry, both actors have begun to retreat professionally. Sources confirm that Baris Ardak has dropped out of a major series that was already in pre-production, a move that likely cost him a fortune in contract penalties. Elsen, similarly, has indefinitely postponed her participation in a highly anticipated theater play. This is not a coincidence. This is paralysis. It is a reflection of an emotional exhaustion so profound that it has rendered them unable to perform. How can you pretend to be someone else when you don't even know who you are anymore? How can you play at love on screen when your real heart is breaking in silence? Social media is awash with the grief of a million fans. They broke our hearts without saying a word, one comment reads. This seems like a love story that only they lived and we felt. And perhaps that is the tragedy of Baris Ardak and Elçin Sangu. It was a love story lived in the white space between lines of dialogue, in the stolen glances between camera flashes. And now, it is ending in the same way it lived, in silence. Baris has tried to hit delete. Elsen has tried to hide behind pride. But as Elsen herself warned, you cannot erase the past without erasing yourself. We are watching two people slowly fade away, leaving only the ghost of what could have been. Thank you for bearing witness with us on Anything You Want. If this story of pride, loss, and memory moved you, please share it. We are curious, do you believe they will ever find their way back to each other, or is the deletion final? Tell us your prediction in the comments below. And finally, a reminder to click that join button to support independent, deep dive storytelling. Until the next secret is revealed, remember, love is the one thing you cannot delete.